What's up, everybody? Welcome to the podcast. Now, I'm Alex. In this video, I'm going to talk about when we will see the actual PS5. So, yesterday, they had the specs announcement. We talked all about that in yesterday's video. We talked about how it was pretty disappointing, how it was mainly, I would say, a better phrase to put it, but less in your face, is misjudged. They misjudged the audience that they were going to be speaking to, which I think is very, very fair to say. But the question is, okay, we get the specs, we get the GPU, we get all the solid state drive, we get all of this info, which again, we talked about, if that means anything to specific groups of people, and it definitely does to some, and some it means significantly less. But the question is, okay, well, we got that out of the way, I guess, and I guess it's become a thing where it's like, I guess we did have to get it out of the way, where it was, I guess, a barrier in front of us that we had to move, and now we're at the point where, okay, well, we still don't know what it looks like. We still don't know what the PS5 looks like. We still don't know what the DualShock 5 looks like. We still haven't seen any games running on a PS5. We haven't seen any examples of games doing what Mark Cerny said. Now, I guess that's a caveat because Spider-Man, we did see that, right? That was like a behind the closed door. It was at like a convention. People took videos. So we've seen that. We've seen that it takes significantly less time to load Spider-Man. So that's just an example of how you can play a PS4 game and the loading, and just in general, I should say, loading times on the PS5 are significantly lower. So we've seen that. I guess I'll give them credit, but you know what? They haven't done it in like a massive event. So the question is now, all right, here we are. We're in middle of March. They've said, the rumor as of yesterday was that the PlayStation 5 is still not delayed. Now, that could very well change. I think it honestly will change as things continue to get worse around the world, but as of right now, they're sticking with that. The problem they have, and I'm a big Sony guy, by the way, don't take this as me bashing Sony. So if you guys are trying to defend Sony, I'm with you, okay? I'm with you. If you guys hate Sony, well then, I guess you just come here to hate, right? So I like Sony. I'm completely in their camp. I want the best for them, but here's the situation. Microsoft has done, honestly, what Sony should have done yesterday. And I think also, I didn't say that in yesterday's video, but that actually just came to my mind, where Microsoft has shown the console, has shown the controller, has talked about what it's going to do in like layman's terms where anybody can understand it. Here's some of the features it's going to have. And again, Mark Cerny, brilliant. Honestly believe the smartest guy in all of gaming. But talking about things the way he talked about them, who's going to really understand it? Not that many. I guess besides that, who's going to care? That's the biggest part. The biggest thing is the things that Microsoft has said, the whole that you can maybe upgrade your game and developers have the option to give you the upgraded game. Those are the things that are important. Those are the things that Sony needs to do. So the question is, when are we going to get that stuff? Well, talk a few months ago, or I think like around a month ago, was, because remember, things were starting to heat up. People thought early March. People thought like March could have been the time. I guess people thought before then February could have been when they did that like live presentation, which obviously hasn't happened. It absolutely won't happen now. They're going to have to be stuck with like a state of play or kind of a thing like they just did yesterday. But the talk was February, the talk was March, but I believe in some interview, they talking about like the future of PlayStation, like what they have to talk about in late April. How that's kind of the time that Sony goes out and talks about what they're doing as kind of like pioneers and leaders of the industry, right? And kind of like tell people what they're up to. And that was talked about to be late April, which is the end of one of their fiscal quarters as well, I believe. So that date, or that time period, I should say, has been floated around a while. And honestly, ever since the stuff has been going around the world, ever since things have been getting worse, even as March has like started to go through, because remember, we only heard about this Mark Cerny thing, I believe, on Monday, right? They gave us like a one-day notice. Really, ever since the day before that, so like Sunday, I had just assumed we weren't getting anything till late April, and then we would get something. I think you have, because again, going back to what Microsoft has shown versus Sony, I think you need to show something. I get it. I understand their strategy. I get that they're just kind of, they're just sitting there and they're like, you know what? We crushed it last gen. We have everything in place. We know we're going to do really good, this upcoming time. We're ready to go, and we're going to take our time, and we're going to do it when we want to, and we're going to kind of play it safe. And I get that, and there is a part of me that's fine with that. At the other side of things, though, because I'm worried. It's a conflicting thing with me, like my own personal opinion, because you have them sitting there, and that's fine. And I know that when they do announce it, because I've seen so many people say that, when they do announce things, it's going to be the biggest thing in the world, especially now with everybody like at home. If like tomorrow or in April, say we're all still like this, and then in April they show the PS5, I mean, it's going to blow up. It's going to be the biggest thing. Also, same thing, if they wait till, say, May or June, and they do an online thing like how Microsoft is, and in that, they just do everything. They say, you know what? We've been waiting. We didn't want to give you the PS5. We didn't want to show you the PS5 3 months ago to then have you guys wait. We're going to do it all. We're going to show you the PS5. We're going to show you the DualShock. We're going to talk about things in very simple talk where you guys understand, here's some of the biggest things we're trying to do for you guys for the PlayStation 5. Not the developers, because again, the thing yesterday was more or less talking to developers. Like, here's the specs we're using. You have a lot of options at your disposal for basically every part of making a game, for shading, for ray tracing, for all, just audio, for so many things. You guys have a lot of choices, which is fine. And again, wrong group, because you're not talking to developers, you're talking to the people sitting at home now, and that was the problem with yesterday. But so again, it's a conflicted thing, because here's my prediction: is it's either late April or we have to wait all the way till June. I truly do believe that. If they don't show us the PS5, they don't show us things in late April, I think we have to wait all the way till June. And the more I think about it, or the more because it's not even us thinking about it, the more they're showing things, like the more they're showing their hand basically of what their plan is to do, the more it seems like their plan is to just do it all at once and do it in one huge tidal wave, which again, fine. It's just the impatient part of me. It's the impatient part of the community, right? I mean, and by the way, it's not a bad thing. It's okay to be impatient. It's okay to be in a next-gen year still, I guess, for right now, right? We still, people have hope that it can still come out in the fall, whatever. But, I mean, we're very, very close, right? We're within months, and we've gotten next to nothing. We've gotten literally nothing. That's a big problem. That's honestly a massive, massive problem. Because I could see them doing something in April. I think it makes a lot of sense to do something in April because again, you have to evaluate, do you want to show things kind of in drips, right, or in drops? Do you want to drop the news and then leave them in drops? Or do you want to do it all at once? And it's a tough thing. And again, I go back and forth debating because again, well, it's not even necessarily what I want. What I want would be for it to come out now, for it to be announced now versus later. It's more or less like me understanding what they're trying to do, but just being impatient at it, because I really don't want to wait till June to even see the console, to see the DualShock. But again, if you do wait till that time to do it, if you do, bide your time, and then they just announce everything all at once, I mean, it's going to be the biggest thing in the world, because they could announce it, they can show it, they can show examples, they'll show all of the games that they're working on, first party, third party, all that kind of stuff. They could show the price, they could show the release date. I mean, if they want to do it all at once, they can, and it would be the biggest thing ever, and it would take away from everything anybody else is talking about in the moment, or even what people have talked about in the past. So you do have to kind of evaluate which one is the bigger thing to do. Again, though, it's just weird that we have Series X. They're doing such a good... I mean, I really am very impressed with Microsoft. They're doing a great job. They've shown us all these things. They're taking it, like, incrementally, right, like in steps. I'm happy with what we've seen from them. And, I wish that Sony would do it. At the same time, I understand Sony's position. I understand what they're doing. But it's just that kind of impatient thing. So, I don't know. Again, honestly, late April or June. And I don't know why everybody is so stuck with June, because yes, E3's gone, but and actually that's a good thing. E3's gone. You have the ability to literally do it whenever you want, in May, in June, whenever. But you know what we're probably going to get? That same 5-day stretch of E3, they're going to still have all these conferences, which just makes, honestly, zero sense. It would be the stupidest thing in the world to do something like that. And I bet you a lot of companies end up almost overlapping in their press conferences, which makes no sense. Do it in May. Do it whenever. But really, honestly, after late April, I don't see the reason why you couldn't do it. That's another thing to think about is we talk about June because of E3, even with, a canceled E3, there's still kind of that thing there. But if after late April is really when Sony is a little bit more comfortable talking about it, well, under normal circumstances, yes, maybe they would have done a state of play a couple days before or a couple days after E3 to match Microsoft, because Microsoft would be at E3, Warner Bros. Would be at E3, Ubisoft, and all that stuff. So we would see next-gen things, and then maybe a few days before or after PS5, the rest of it would be shown. So, I understand that strategy, but now, without having E3, honestly, it's the Wild West. Anybody can do whatever they want, whenever they want. You don't have to wait till June. So why could Sony not do it in early May, in mid-May, in late May? What's stopping them? So honestly, I guess I'll change it. I feel like late April or after, and I don't really know when late after is. I think it would be a stupid thing to do late May or June, to limit it to just like that 1 week in June, because it's not a limit anymore. You can do it whenever you want. And yet I feel like my gut's telling me it's going to be either that week that E3 was supposed to be or late April. So guys, let me know in the comments below, when do you think we're getting more info? What do you think is going to be shown next? All that kind of stuff. Let me know in the comments below. Make sure you guys subscribe to our YouTube channel, Podcast Now. Hit the bell icon so you guys know when these videos go up. And thank you so much for watching. I greatly appreciate it. Stay safe, everybody. We're all in this fight together, and I hope to see you all on the next video.